So here we go. What I'm going to do is because we have customers and partners in the webinar, to show the basic functionalities in the beginning, just that the customers and partners who are not familiar with that system will get a simple introduction. For the partners and customers who are familiar, the second part will be quite interesting, how to optimize, how to automate the environment. So just I have to do an introduction. I will do that quite short. If at the end there are questions coming up, or we should do another session, one-to-one sessions, that's fine for us as well. My name is Chris from ck.solution. You can find here I'm the project manager of that system to have an overview. So I'm quite familiar with that system, but details you will see them later once again. So what we're going to see today is, as mentioned in the beginning, I will make a short introduction. It's kind of storage of AR invoices. I print something and it goes directly into the archive and will be on the text recognition will be done automatically. Later on, I will do an example of an incoming and outgoing document, or no, the wrong way. I wrote it in the wrong way. It's outgoing and incoming. So that means if I print something, for example, a delivery note or a service call, and you printed something and you give it to the customer and he signs something, it goes back to the document management system. It will be back in a fast way. So one example of, I think, basic functionality of the document management. I will just have a quick look into the CKS.DMS Web, that you can see where is who can take care or who can look into the document, that you have a web interface. It's an easy web interface that you can search for an easy way. The next is that I just show 2 seconds the Outlook plugin, and later on the optimization of email groups, email dispatching system in SAP Business One. What we had to do, the email system which is delivered with SAP is not, I think, the best one. There are a few functionalities are missing. That means that you have placeholders, that you can work with email groups, and we amended that system to automate the whole workflow, the whole of purchasing items, for example. But that's what I'm gonna do in the coming document recognition part. Our CKS.DMS server is part of it, that this server can download emails and put them into SAP Business One automatically. That is related to the email dispatching system. And later on, I will show you a whole example of I order something, I get a confirmation of the order, I get a goods receipt PO from the supplier, and at the end I get the AP invoice, and how to do it in an automated way. The next part is, and if we still have time, I can show you how to archive Excel files in an automatic way. A customer of mine, for example, is using that to do item calculations, and if you do item calculation, it's quite difficult sometimes if you have not an PPS system. In Excel, you get these Excel files out of the document management system and put them later on back just via the save button. But if you still have time, I will show you that. So we go now directly into SAP Business One to show you the functionality. I said in the beginning, if we go to an AR invoice, we have it here, and I pick now the number 150 print. And what happened is here that the system is printing that document and adding that document directly to the document management system. That is important. In Germany, we have a law that it says that you should regenerate the invoice you send to the customer all the time. And that includes if you have a general manager on it, or you have a tax number on it, and so on, that you should generate the printed one. I printed it to the archive. You can see that here. This is just a functionality of showing you if you print something, how we put it into the archive. It's just an introduction. In the different countries, it's sometimes not necessary. But in other countries, they have the requirements that they want to do that with sales quotation, for example, that you send out a sales quotation, and this sales quotation should be added to the archives that you can, for example, search in that archive. But anyway, here is the archives. It's more or less the same functionality as the attachments in SAP Business One. And it gets more interesting in the second form. Here in that form, the system, if you print something, it generates for you automatically the catchphrases or text recognition. And I pick the word street, is it in English? And I close now all the forms. And I put it here. The system shows me where is the word street in the system. So it does a full text search of every document you added to the system. Where do you need that? If you have AP invoices and you put them into the system, a text recognition will be done automatically. And if there are serial numbers or batch numbers on the invoice, but you do not manage the item as serial or batch numbers, you can still find the correct invoice to send them back to the supplier for an RMA case. So I can now jump back to the document we just added. And I can also jump back to the invoice. So you can here jump to the invoice, jump to the business partner. So the look and feel of the whole document management system is still SAP Business One. You can see here the old Business One style. It's not the HANA style, but we do support HANA as well. We're just currently preparing our HANA server for the NITSE Summit. If we are in the business partner, I can do a right click now as well. And what you're going to do is you get a collection of all the documents which are related to the business partner or added to the archive are visible behind the business partner. In our case, I printed the invoice 150, invoice 200, and I just added another document directly to the business partner. If you add yet now a delivery note or anything else to the business partner, this will be visible there as well. So if you add the document to the delivery note, it will be visible behind the business partner too. That was just a simple introduction that you get. I was just adding the invoice. I printed it. We searched for a word and how to find the archive. So it's generally the whole document management system is built up in a different way. If we speak about finding something, I always tell the user, find and buy Business One. Do not find the archive. So if you set up the document management system in a proper way, you find everything behind the business partner. So what you're going to do in the first case, the index, the search index is in the first step, the business partner, and not somehow in the document management system. Okay, that was the introduction. The next part is outgoing and incoming document. If I open a delivery note, and we do have here the delivery note. What you can see here now is that this delivery note has a barcode. This barcode is a functionality of the document management system to link the document. The content of the barcode is now, I'm a delivery note with the number 1. We can print these barcodes for almost every sub-business document. If it's an activity, if it's a serial number, it's a batch number. So this is just, I'm a CKS barcode and which document is related to. Go to the second page. You can see here what I was mentioning before, that you have a signature confirmation of delivery note. That means you send out items to the customer, he confirms it, and you have a paper in front of you. But how do you get it back in a fast way to the document management system? So you put it on a scanner, you take the file normally, you put it to the attachments folder, and this can be done fully automatically. So an example here. If I minimize that and I have a delivery note signed, you have it here. So if I go to the bottom of the page, you have here the confirmation of delivery. Somebody has signed it. And what I'm going to do is now I pick that file and put it to the document management. I have folders where I can put this file to. So I just copy it to that folder. And this is the same process as you normally do if you have external scanners. So if you have an external scanner, you are scanning into a specific folder. That's what I'm gonna do as well. So you have the delivery note, you are scanning it to a specific folder, and it's taken from the document management system. Let me check which document number is this. This is document number 1. If I open now the delivery note number 1, do a right click and go into the archive, you can see here that I just archived this document automatically. So it's linked automatically to the document management system or to SAP Business One. And no, it's linked to SAP Business One automatically. So you can see here the archive date, so it was not a fake. So it's pretty easy, scanning the document and analyzing the barcode and put the document to the document management system. If I go now to the revision, you can see here that this document was also, a text recognition was done, and we can search for that document now as well. Our next part is our CKS.DMS Web. What I'm going to show you now is how to find the document in that web. If I go now to our web interface, this web interface is, when do you use it? This web interface, you can use that web interface when you have external salespersons. They have just an iPad, and what they want to do is, what was for last sales quotation to the customer? When were the last sales? What was the prices for? So you can see here, if I move it, it's a responsive design. I'm going to log in now as a manager. And if I slide it, so you can see here the menu is changed. So it's designed and optimized for iPads or iPhones or other mobile devices. If I'm now here in the archive, I can just click, I can enter something, but what I'm going to do is I just click on search. And you can see here a whole overview about all the documents I have in the archive. You can jump in the same way into the documents as I was showing you before. If I click now, for example, on AR invoice, I 7. So you have here the first form in SAP Business One. It's just an overview about which document. And if I go into the second, these are the revisions. I haven't showed you the revisions yet. A revision is just a new version of a document. I will show you that later with incoming documents and AP invoices if somebody is changing something on it. And these are the two forms I was showing you before. And you can see here, I click now on AR invoice 27, and you get here a simple overview about all the data in the AR invoice. If we click now on the business partner, you have a whole overview about all the things which are done in the business partner. Here we have production orders, we have delivery notes, sales orders, and so on and so on. And here's a simple overview again about the business partner. So you need just for a quick view into the document management system. I go back now. So the next part was our Outlook add-in and optimization of email dispatching. The email dispatching tool in SAP Business One, I open now the print preferences. The most of you know this form with this functionality. You can enter here an email subject. You can enter here a body. And if you create that if you order something or wrong button. If we are in the purchase order, that's what we have here, and we are ordering something, we click on Outlook. Here are the details of the system. Let me move something. So just a PDF file is attached. You have here the title and the email address is taken from the contact person. That is the simple SAP Business One way. What is missing is our email groups. I click now cancel. You cannot select an email group where to send something. Why are email groups for us so important? Email groups or other options like using templates. I will change it now to AR invoice. You can see here that we can use templates now. We can templates, or we can use placeholders, and we can use email groups are important for us to centralize. The most important part is when you do automation, you have to centralize the processes. What does it mean? Centralization is just if you order something, you should get a reply on the same email address. I have an email address, order@ck.solution.de. Somebody sends an order for the document management system to order@ck.solution.de, and it doesn't matter who is taking care of that order, anybody does it. So all my colleagues have a connection to the order postbox and can use it. This is still a manual way, but how to optimize it is if you get an order and this is analyzed by our CKS.DMS server, it picks the order and creates automatically an order in SAP Business One, or it creates automatically a delivery note. That I was showing when something is sending you a delivery note or scanning a delivery note, and the system can generate on that things automatically. So you have to say the system in front of it. If you centralize it, you have a postbox invoice, you have a postbox order, and everything which is going in should execute a process. And that is just possible if you centralize something. It's not just email address. It's also, if we speak about scanning something. In the most of the company, if we say optimize your paper workflow in the accounting department, say invoices should be scanned in the accounting department. That's the centralization as well. Okay, this is at the moment regarding email and centralization. If we have a purchase order, we can now work with email groups. Send out now the purchase order 455, and I click on Outlook email. This email is sent to Max Mustermann. We have CKS details in it. Here's placeholder are added automatically. So if we send out now that email, I get a reply from a supplier. I do not send it out now because it will not work. But what comes back is a reply of a supplier with the following information. Dear Mr. Leitner, I hereby confirm the order from, it's not today, but anyway, you got the reply back. And this was sent to a postbox called order@ck.solution.de. Our CKS.DMS service, I will start that service now. So our CKS.DMS server can do a lot of other things as well. Archiving attachments, analyzing attachments, do text recognition of it, print course sheet layouts, or anything else. But in our case, I will want to show you this CKS.DMS server can analyze a postbox on Exchange or POP, it doesn't matter. But I click now on test or start the test. And now our service is running. This service is analyzing now our Exchange demo inbox. If I put now a mail, or we receive a mail, it goes here. Oh, it's just imagine this is now our Exchange server. The email is taken from our service. What happened is this mail system was able to put that order confirmation directly behind the order. You can see that here. Hereby we confirm the order. The part of from our partner is now to inform, for example, the users that something happened in the background. So that's a kind of customization for the customer. And that's what our partner are doing. So I have the confirmation, and our next step and our next stage is we receive the delivery note. I'm introducing at the moment a new form. This form is typical inbox. We call it inbox because everything what's coming into the company goes into that inbox. It's not just email, it's paper, it's machines who producing quality control tests. These tests go into that inbox as well. So what this inbox for is everything goes in there, and the postman is the job of the postman is now to say, okay, this now we take the delivery note to make it more clear. The postman is scanning now a delivery note. This one. I open now the display. I open now the delivery note. You have the customer information data here. You have the items what were received. You have the order number on it. And the postman say, oh, I got now a delivery note that was scanned in the logistic department and went directly to the document management system. He say, okay, I have the document, and this, I want to start for this the delivery note recognition. So the recognition is started. What you also can, okay, this document, this analyzed document should go now to the purchase department. I say now this belongs to Robert Lübke. Mr. Lübke has now his own inbox. And in his own inbox, he has his workload. At the moment, logged in as Robert Leitner. That's the reason why I just see this document. But you just have to, the point is, you analyze, you put everything into the inbox. The system tries to analyze to start the automation on its own. And if it's not possible, it goes to the specific person. So in our case, the document was analyzed. I got the information. That I go now into the document. I got here a few raw data information. But the most important part is that the system generated for you a draft document, a goods receipt PO, including the lines and the items. So I think if anybody saw already an invoice recognition, that's cool. But if you see a goods receipt recognition based on a purchase order, that's even cooler. So I'm pretty sure that you haven't saw this kind of functionality before, because that is just amazing what the systems are already able to do for you. But we are not finished yet. The system generated for you, depending on the purchase order, depending on the confirmed purchase order, go in SAP Business One, including lines. What I'm going to do is now, I say, okay, add. This goods receipt PO is now in SAP Business One. What you then get is, in our case, we have now two options. We say, okay, I have the CKS.DMS Server, which is controlling the invoice at ck.solution postbox. And so if there is an invoice, our CKS.DMS Server picks that invoice and is adding that to the system. Another option is a manual way. If we have, for example, an email here in Outlook, and I can say, put that email. So we have an Outlook add-in as well. It's user specific. So I say here now, I have two new documents. One, of course, the mail. But the most important part is now, in our case, what I can do now is from the mail, I can start the invoice recognition. From that stage, I can just say this attachment, and I want to start the invoice recognition. In our case, I just added the file now. Doesn't matter where it comes from. CKS.DMS Server, per scanner, anything else. And I can say, please start the invoice recognition. Of course, it's not a surprise anymore if I say now it's creating a draft document and it's related to a goods receipt PO. That's yeah, that's what you request now or want to see. But about the functionalities, what happens if the system cannot recognize the invoice in the proper way? We always have the case. What I show you now is an untrained system. So when we start implementing that system on customer side, we are in an untrained stage. So we give the documents to the customer or to the system, say recognize it, and after that we see, okay, or the accounting department is seeing that the system did not recognize the invoice number, for example, properly. But I go, it started here, the email. You can see that here that this doc created. So we take a little bit of time, and why do I say there must be a person who is dispatching the information from the inbox? The system does the same, it's more or less the same behavior as we do it as a human. We are looking for the business partner, we are looking for the invoice number, we are looking for tables and lines, and we are finding items. So that takes time, and the system does it automatically, but it still takes time. So we have here the invoice, it's created. And you can see here a draft document is generated. A few raw data, the system found automatically the order number, found the gross amount. So I go now to that document, and you can see here that system also found the invoice number, for example, quantity, item lines, and of receipt PO. And depending on that, the purchase order. So the whole process of generating documents in SAP Business One will be handled in the same way with the document recognition. So I close that now. The next step, what we have to do is here, if we have this kind of system, we want to set up approval procedures. These approval procedures are there to put that document to the sales manager, purchase manager, CEO, it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is now I add that document, and an approval procedure takes care. This is the standard approval procedure workflow system from SAP Business One. So I say, please, CEO, confirm that. I say, okay. So we have to wait now. So an alarm message pops up. Normally it takes a little bit. Yeah, here we go. We have a request for approval of that document. I go now into that document, and the manager can say, okay, I want to have a look here. I want to go into the archive. I want to see that document. And she can say, okay, I have to write on that a little bit. So you set up a approved stamp and say save. Here's now the important word. The system generates for you a new revision. So it says, if you change something, you are not allowed to delete, but you are allowed to add a new revision. So I say yes. If we open that document, you can see here that the revision is yes. I go into the archive, and here are now two revisions of that document. One without approved, one with approved. So what the manager now does is you say, okay, that's approved. Please book accounting department. Update. What happened now? Of course, a message appears. Document generation approved. So you can have a look again into the document. Doesn't matter what happened, in which case, but he or she sees now the approved procedure, the approved flag, and say, okay, I can add that document. Approved, done. If you go now to the inbox, the document is of course not here anymore because the inbox was cleaned up. So I think, again, this is amazing. You have an approval procedure, the documents are generated automatically, the system finds a business partner, the system finds the lines, it creates, depending on a purchase order, the document. So this is a little bit the future of more or less every company. Yeah. Okay, that was the incoming part of incoming document recognition and automation of the whole purchase process, including CKS.DMS Server, including getting mails from Exchange or POP. Because we still have 5 minutes left after we start the question, change, I'm going to switch back once. I give you a few more details about the ADR. If we open, I want to open a supplier. If we see that supplier, you find in the user-defined fields a few information. So you can see here that depending on the settings, the system is generating, for example, a service invoice account invoice. So or service invoice account. So if the system has a service business partner, it creates for you a service invoice. We can work with default items for that business partner. If you deliver, for example, energy or gas, that normally you get an invoice from business partner to 10 tons of gas. I think that's a wrong measurement. But anyway, the system can work with default items behind the business partner. Or we can work with search terms, how to find the business partner. It's in the European Union, it's the case that you can work with tax IDs, but we have a supplier who gets invoices from a Brazilian coffee supplier, and he do not have tax IDs anymore. Sometimes it's just a paper with few information on it, but we still able to analyze these documents as well, even if they are difficult. So I just want to say we have options to optimize the analyzation of the documents and how the system is working with the vendor. That's regarding the ADR. Now we come back to the Excel file. I put that here. So we have a simple Excel file which is related to an item. In our case, I0009. We have in the background a calculation of delivery cost quantity. So what I'm going to do is, I do an item calculation about the cost to deliver that. I say, in our case, I just wanted to order 100 pieces. So now we do about the total cost depending on the supplier. If we speak about a food and beverage production industry, these Excel sheets can be enormously, really. So I saw Excel sheets to do calculation to produce apple juice and these kind of things. So this is difficult to put that in standard SAP Business One behavior. So they have an Excel sheet to calculate that. And what they're going to do is they have an item calculation, and they just say, save that file into the document management system. So it's done. I close that. I go now to the item. And what happened here is we have our archive, of course. Here in the background are the different revisions of the item calculation. So you can see here that revision. We're speaking again about revision because item calculations are typically, I change something, I want to have the old revision of that. So I have, here's a revision number 9. I can display now that revision. And have here the item calculation. If I do it the next time, I say, now I want 150 and say save file. And when it goes again into the document management system. We have to wait a few seconds. And if we look now into the document management system, it takes a little bit. Sometimes it's blocked because Excel is blocking the file. If we reload now the document management system, it goes directly to the system because Excel is blocking the file and our system sees that that file is blocked, or we wait now 5 minutes. But just I think I was able to show you the functionality behind the Excel calculation. You can do that with any other document as well. It's just a simple macro, and it's a document which we save into the archive as a specific format. So we have different options to give some documents into the document management system. I just spoke before half an hour about a machine who's creating quality control tests, who testing produced items. This quality control test must be pushed to the document management system. And if I close that, I have, for example, here a quality test of a machine, how is the length, the width, and so on and so on. And these files, it's just another case of automation. If you put that file to the document management system, it's put it directly to that file now and puts that into the document management system. So it's again, in our case, it's not a scanned document anymore. It's an automatic generated document via machine, which puts a document to a folder. This document was now analyzed. And if I go now to the production order and do a right click, you can see here the archive of the just added document. Here we go. I click on it. You can see an overview. We can say display. So you can see the automation options enormously with all functionalities you can even imagine. So it's not just automation of invoices. It's not just automation of machines. You can automate macro Excel files and so on and so on. So I think that is, in the past we said we supplier for fast and simple for fast and simple archiving. We are going more and more to automation, simple archiving and automation. Okay, I'm done. I go now back to the presentation. I think I was showing you the invoice recognition, the incoming invoice document recognition. I was showing you the automation of archiving of Excel files and how to work with files which are generated externally by a machine. I'm almost finished. You can put your questions, your queries now to the chat system, and I can hope I can answer them in a detailed way. Here is a question from, do you have revisions of quotation generated by SAP? Yes. So if we go back to the system and if we say, I go now a little bit deeper into set up these document management systems, the configuration wizard makes it quite easy for the partners to set up the whole system. And if I say now, I want an outgoing document, the sales quotation. Let me check if I have sales quotation. I say now next. I go through that. I do it now quite fast, but I can show you with that example the revisions of the document. So I go now to sales quotation. I just have to set up now, where's layout designer? I have to set up now a layout for printing into the archive. I set up now the AR sales quotation, Was it, yeah, to the printer, this one, edit, okay. Okay, so run. So what I'm going to show you at the moment is what I set up now in just 2 minutes outgoing documents to the document management system. So I think it's not even possible with external systems of document management systems. So anyway, I click now on print. So the document is printed. We have it in the sales quotation. Maybe, yeah, it's already there. So we have that version here. And the question was now, how do you have revisions of quotations generated by SAP? I can go now to, I change now the contact person. I say update. And if I print it again, the system is generating for you. So I say click, okay. So I go into the archive and have now 2 revisions here of the printout. We also have an overview about changelog, what you changed in detail if you changed catchphrases, but visually, yes, we have revisions of that. I hope that answers that question quite good. So the next question was, is it possible to use Gmail online instead of Outlook to put the files to SAP and DMS? We have no ideal add-in. You have to use Outlook if you want to do it in a manual way. If you use our CKS.DMS server, you can download emails automatically from Gmail as well. So you can really say, please download the mails from order at ck.solution, invoice at ck.solution, but we have no Gmail add-in. If that is requested, we can deliver that for a customer because we do individual development as well. The next question was, can you attach, if there's any question not properly answered, just write me in the chat box and I can unmute you so that we can discuss it further in detail. But the next question was, can you attach documents to bill of materials? Yes, we have a full overview. If I go to, I know there's not a bill of materials, but what I can do, is supported document types. So, of course, the AP, the AR document, the activities, here's bill of materials. But what's quite important as well, if we speak about where can we put documents, is batch numbers as well. Bill of materials, of course, you can put there build-up of a machine or anything else. But if you have, for example, batch numbers in the food and beverage industry, you can put their quality control tests as well directly behind the batch numbers. It's not possible with SAP at the moment. Bill of materials, I think that was here. What I'm going to show you is now I select the bill of materials. I have a document here which is selected. I select the bill of materials. I open it. I can jump now to the bill of material. I click update, and now I added in a manual way a document behind. So the next question was, do you have to be on the same network as SAP for the Outlook and Excel add-in to work? And do you have to be a SAP user to use them? And so everybody who wants to connect to the document management system, it's licensed per named user, need a CKS.DMS license. That's the first. When we speak about the Outlook add-in, it is not necessary that the Outlook must be in the same network as SAP does, or SAP is, because we speak here about the cloud environment, I guess. And in the cloud environment, we recommend to have Outlook in the cloud. Sorry, but you still need a good internet connection to handle that. So the Excel add-in is more easily to use. So the Excel add-in is just a simple macro and it's saving a file. And we speak about 100 kilobytes, then it's just push it to the specific folder. When you have normally, when you have cloud environment, you have an FTP server sometimes, or you have a folder which you can use where you can put files. And in our case, just put these files into that folder and it's taken automatically by the document management system. Thanks for joining. Here are my contact details. So just write me if you have further questions or need more information, or we should do a one-to-one session or should discuss a specific customer situation.